Welcome back. In this segment, we're going to be teaching you the 5 centering set. Now, the 5 centering set is a very, very old Tai Chi set, and it's a very powerful set. It ties into the 5 organ set that we did before, and we'll explain how those two differ. First off, though, we're going to go and we're going to teach you the pictogram for knowledge. Again, the pictograms are very important because they help us to use words like knowledge, but we all have the same picture in our mind instead of having a word like knowledge is very abstractual that we all get different pictures in our mind from. Now, the pictogram for knowledge is a very simple drawing of an arrow and a mouth. The concept is that when we speak, the words that come out of our mouths are like arrows, and true knowledge shoots people up. People that use their knowledge to shoot people where they want them to go, or they use it to shoot them down, even though they may know a lot of facts and figures, again, unless they're using their knowledge to shoot you upwards to higher levels, it's not really applicable. And again, when we apply it back to the get it concept, you have to ask yourself, what is their goal in using their words, what they know, to shoot you down or to shoot you where they want you to go. So what I want you to do is, as you move through your day and through your week and through this course, start thinking of applying the pictogram to knowledge to your mouth and to the mouths of others. And instead of listening to what the person is saying, think in terms of where are their words shooting you and where are your words shooting them. What is the goal? What is the target? So you can also think of this mouth here as a target as well. Where are you shooting them? Where are they shooting you? So if what they're saying is right or wrong, good or bad, again, what is the goal of that? Now, if you've been practicing your 5 organ set, you remember that the 5 organ set really works the upper body. The feet really don't play much of a role in the 5 organ set. We keep them pretty much stationary, working the torso, opening up the lungs, opening up the liver, opening up the kidneys, opening up the stomach, opening up the area around the heart. In the 5 centering set, a lot of the hand movements are going to be exactly the same or very similar to the 5 centering set. The key difference is that in the 5 centering set, the emphasis now comes into the legs because we want to work on having our legs very centered, because as we walk and we move, we want to make sure that, again, our balance is there, our energy is rooted in the ground, so like a tree. In fact, in Tai Chi, we're sort of like moving trees. We want to be like an oak tree, very solid, or like a willow tree, very fluid and mobile. Now, this first movement is called energy circles, and we go to a wider stance, again, because the emphasis is on the legs. The toes can be out a little bit or straight. Again, you want to feel comfortable with your movement. We let our body sink and relax, pushing our knees up. We call this a horse stance because it's like we're riding a horse. We breathe in, bringing a ball up, and we turn the palms out as we sink. Again, following the breath is very important. Again, we breathe in. As we breathe out, we rotate to our right gently. Now, you just want to rotate to about 3 o'clock initially, maybe even 1 or 2. Again, whenever you feel any pain, you want to make sure you back off. You can be a little uncomfortable, but you don't want to feel pain in the body. Now, in this position, we want to keep our knees out. We want to relax and sink, opening up the pelvic girdle. We breathe in, come back to center, and we breathe out, and we turn to our 9 o'clock position. Elbows stay up. Again, we want the back rounded. Again, we breathe in, and we breathe out. Remember, we want to relax and sink. Breathe in, and breathe out. The movement is very slow and gentle. The reason we do the movement slow and gentle is so that you can feel where the muscles are tight and where they need to relax. You find a particular tight position, you can very gently let that movement vibrate or shake. Again, breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth. Every once in a while, it's important to shake your fingers out a little bit, relax the fingers. You come up, feet together, stretch the arms out, and harmonize. Let the breath come all the way down into the feet and sink. In Tai Chi, they say the Qi is rooted in the feet, is directed by the waist, and then it's manifested, is directed out through the hands, sort of like a water hose. So, again, wide stance from behind. Breathe in, hold the ball. Breathe out, turning the hands out and sink. Again, breathe in, breathe out, and sink. Again, I'm facing 12 o'clock. Whichever direction you're facing forward is 12. You can see now I'm going to about 7 o'clock from behind me. Again, you should only go as far as your movement is comfortable. If that's only 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, that's fine. If it's 3 o'clock, that's fine. If it's 7 or even 6 o'clock behind you, that's fine too. The elbows lead. Again, relax and sink. You can hold a posture. You can take a deep breath. Relax and sink and let it open up some more. Again, breathe in and breathe out. Again, the goal of this set is you want to sort of feel if this is a pendulum or a line going right down the middle of your head through your tailbone into the floor, and everything is working around that center point. So again, there's your center right down here in the middle. So your feet are moving to the right, moving to your left, but you keep your center here. Also, you want to keep your breath in your center as well. You don't want your breath coming up. As you breathe in, you want to expand like a balloon, and then relax and sink. Again, make sure the elbows lead. Keep the hands relaxed. Wherever you find tension coming up in your body, if you find too much, again, take a deep breath, harmonize and relax, and then remember, also do swaying tree at the end. When you do swaying tree, at the end of each movement, feel your feet root into the ground. Feel your ankles, your knees, your hips, your back, your shoulders, your hands. Feel it all the way up through the body so that you can relax everything as you move with this movement. The next movement in the 5 centering set is energy arms. Now energy arms looks almost exactly like the liver exercise. The hands are the same, okay? In the liver exercise though, we had a high stance, and again we're working on expanding and contracting the liver. In this movement we have a wide stance again like we did in the first exercise. We hold the ball, and the difference in this movement is that when this one, again we breathe in, as we breathe out we want to let our arms stretch off the spine. We want to sink the stance down. Again, opening up the pelvic girdle. We breathe in, we turn the ball over, and we breathe out. And again, we let the arms stretch out the body. Now you can keep the shoulders back initially and feel the arms stretch off your spine, or you can even turn your waist a little bit to get more length. Again, you want to grow longer arms with this movement. Again, you breathe in and you breathe out. Breathe in and you breathe out. With this one, you can also bring your thumbs in if you would like to try a different feel for the movement. Again, you relax and sink. Breathe in and breathe out. When you're counting this movement, this would be 1, 1, 1, 1. Or you can count 2, 2, 2, 2. So each movement on both sides of the body counts as 1 repetition. 3, 2, 3, 2. Again, come up, harmonize, relax, and then shake that off. Again, in each movement you want to relax, open the body. As the body opens and relaxes, you oxygenate the body more completely. From the rear position, again, we hold the ball, we breathe in, and we breathe out and sink. As you sink, again, you want the muscles coming off the spine, stretching. You can actually have somebody put their hands here on your lower back, middle back, or upper back, and they'll actually be able to feel, as that arm stretches out and opens, they'll be able to feel that movement connected. They'll be able to feel it move here. They'll be able to feel it move in the middle of the back and the upper back. Again, breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. As far as repetitions go, you might start with 3 repetitions, building to 9, building to 12, building to 15, both sides. You can build up all the way to 49 repetitions, both sides. But again, just like weight training, you don't want to overdo it in the beginning because you don't want to end up not being able to move the next day. One of the interesting things about Tai Chi is a lot of people, when they first do the movements, the next day they go, boy, man, I can't believe how sore I was. And, I didn't feel like I really did anything. So again, it's more important to do not enough, do a little bit more, because you can always build up. Instead of doing too much, again, where you're so beat up the next day, you think, boy, I don't want to do this today. I don't want to do this today. I need to take 4 or 5 days off. Again, energy arms, you can see very similar to the liver exercise. Difference is we're working the legs in the 5 centering set. We're going to get the body again to rotate around this center as we move. That becomes very important when we go into some of the moving sets and forms. Excuse me. Because in the moving sets and forms, we'll actually be moving our feet, but we still have to keep this center plumb line going down the center of the body. Okay, next movement is energy shuttle. Energy shuttle is very similar to the heart exercise in the 5 organ set again. The difference is, again, the hands will be the same, but the difference will be in the legs because the 5 centering set is about getting the legs to open up. Now we're holding the ball in front of us, and this time as we turn to our left or to our right, if you're mirroring me, we let our left foot turn out and our right foot turn back. So again, the hands are the same, back leg is straight, front knee is bent. You're going to make sure the front knee doesn't go past the toe initially, or, just for safety purposes. You want to have your feet a little bit apart, so your feet are lined up with your shoulders. If you get them too straight, then you become like walking on a tight wire. So you want a little bit of width to where, again, you're centered. Again, where's your center? Where are you stable and balanced at? With the hands up, in this position, we can slowly push the knee forward, and we can slowly push the heel back. When we push back, again, we want to make sure that heel stays on the ground. You might find when you first do this exercise that your heel comes up. You want to make sure you go to a stance where you can get the heel on the ground or work towards having the heel on the ground. When you move back towards the heel, you want to lead with the hip so I can let my body slowly work back and forth, keeping my center. And I'm stretching out that Achilles tendon. The Achilles tendon is the largest tendon in the body. It's really the tendon that roots us to the ground. From this position, we bring the hands down. We bring this toe up, turning it in, turn this toe out, and turn the heel out. Again, rotating back and forth from side to side, gently and smoothly. Again, this is a little bit more movement than we did in the other 2 initial sets, because now we're moving our feet. As you start moving your feet, you might find yourself a little bit awkward, a little bit off balance. Again, you breathe in and breathe out and sink. Again, the goal is to stretch out the Achilles tendon. Again, to make sure you're centered, so you can move from position to position. Sometimes this movement can be awkward. Make sure you have the ball between the hands. Then again, the one hand goes up, the other hand goes out. Come back down and shuttle. We can also come back and we can stretch out the quadricep. We do that by letting our heel come up off the ground and breathe out and sink, letting the knee come down. Again, wherever you're comfortable at, come up, breathe in and breathe out. Very important when you do these movements. We don't want to just let the muscle drop. Because if we let the muscle drop, that's where you oftentimes have an acceleration muscle tear. Because the quadricep and the femoral bicep aren't working completely in unison. And so the one that goes too quick, the other one pulls. And again, you don't want any muscle tears. That's why you want to move very, very slowly. We don't want to let momentum do the work for us. We want to make that muscle work. Again, relaxing and breathing. Letting the body permeate itself with oxygen. Okay, we're going to do this from behind. Again, we have a wider stance. Holding the ball, turning to our left. Heel dropping out. Check your position. Make sure your knee's not past your toe. Back leg is straight. Come back down. Breathe out. Again, you might work anywhere from 3 to 12 of these with the leg straight. And then work 3 to 12 with the knee bent. So we're going to work on the centering concept. Breathing out and sink. Again, you might not go down this low with the knee. You might only feel comfortable going to here. Again, that's why with Tai Chi it's important to listen to your body. After you do this for a while, you'll find that your body just slowly opens up. Breathe out and sink. Again, harmonize. Again, they liken Tai Chi to like a flower that's all closed up. It's tight and compressed and it opens as it's ready to open. So never force that process when you're doing your movements. Let your body open at its own rate. When you force it, then you're going to end up injuring yourself, or you're going to end up setting yourself back instead of, again, just giving your body time. One of the processes we're working on is, again, using it as an opportunity to work on our inner skills as well. Now in this set, gather and disperse. Gather and disperse is a bit like the kidney exercise we did. Instead of coming, again, from the high stance and our hand on the kidney and our hands coming up and down like we did in the kidney, we're going to have both hands on our hips. Again, we go with our wide stance, and we're going to go with a gather, turning our waist initially, and then instead of coming up, we're going to come across, dispersing. Now what I'm going to be doing is, this is an outward circle, very important in terms of thinking in Tai Chi. I have inward circles, outward circles, and straight lines. As I gather, I'm going to let my hip turn, so my shoulders are squared toward 9 o'clock, and then I disperse, and I let my hip turn again. Again, we gather, and we disperse. Make sure your breath is in your center. Gather, and disperse. Sort of feel like your hand is actually turning your waist and your feet. So the hand actually leads the body. Again, gather and disperse. Do 5 or 6 of those. Then as your right hand comes down to your hip, let your left hand come up. Again, our shoulders are squared to 3 o'clock. And disperse. Gather and disperse. Moves very slow and smooth. Gather, 3, and disperse 3. Gather. This is a good exercise for stress reduction. I have a student who counsels burned out priests and ministers and rabbis. And this is the primary exercise that he teaches them in his counseling sessions and in his seminars. And we come down, come up and harmonize. He gives them the concept that they take all the frustration that they're holding in, and they just gather it all together, and they just disperse it out. So again, Tai Chi can be used for stress reduction as well. Okay, breathe in and breathe out. Again, you can see we're doing the outward circle. Gather and disperse. Again, we can let the heel come up and disperse. Gather and disperse. We can hold the position, and we can actually let, if you watch my left ankle, you can actually let the left ankle wobble to the right and to the left. Sort of like the cables on a bridge, it's working on getting it to be more laterally stable as well. Again, gather. Again, you can work on this side as well. Once the foot's planted, work those cables back and forth. You can actually let your hand follow that movement and then disperse. Again, from here, let your hand come down, other hand come up, hands to the side, palm up, disperse. Gather, disperse. Gather, disperse. Gather, disperse. We can also harmonize by bringing both hands, gathering with both hands, dispersing with both hands, letting the hands relax, come up, harmonize, and sink. It's very important. One of the things we're trying to teach you is we're trying to emphasize the principles of these movements so that you can learn to see that Tai Chi, we look at the 7 major systems of Tai Chi, you see a lot of contradiction or a lot of difference in technique. One emphasizes the technique, you know, this way. One emphasizes the technique this way. And sometimes those may look like very small differences, but in some systems they're very large differences and they want you to do it this particular way. We want you to understand, again, what's the goal of the exercise, why you're doing it this way, why can you do it this way, why can you do it this way. Again, the goal is to build your health and your vitality and your spirit, your will, and you don't want to be, again, overly concerned with form or the way in which form manifests itself. You want to pay attention to the energy and to the intent behind the energy and to listen to your body. Oftentimes they have specific reasons why they do it this way or this way because of technique applications. All these movements have self-defense applications that we can use, which we'll be showing you in a different and later series. But the primary goal of this series and this semester is to help you to build your structure, to make it solider, to give you more flexibility and fluidity so that your body works more efficiently and effectively and your energy levels go up. And that's one of the main things that you'll see with this semester as we move through. Now the last movement in this series, the 5 centering set, is energy pendulum. Now if you think of a pendulum, it just pendulum swings back and forth. And we started this set off with having our feet moderately high like we did in the 5 organ set. We hold a ball in front of us and we just sort of relax and sink and bring that ball to our right side. And then we bring the ball up and bring it to our left side. You can actually put a ruler in your hands as you do this exercise, or you can actually hold a ball in your hands. And again, you can experiment with different sizes of balls. You know, you can hold a big beach ball, or you can hold just like a little tennis ball. Again, the key is to keep the shoulders relaxed. As you do this movement, it's good sometimes to use a mirror because you want to make sure as you do this, you don't dip your shoulder forward or drip your shoulders back. You want to make sure that you're turning from your waist and your shoulders stay level here. Again, you want to breathe out and sink, breathe out and sink. Now once you have that first movement down, the up and down, then we want to go into a downward X or a figure 8 pattern. So your hands at your right side, you hold the ball and you bring it down right across your body to your left side, bring it up, and then bring it down right across the front of the body again. It's very important that your waist is actually bringing your hands around. So I'm not moving my hands so much, it's more waist, and then I let my hands follow the waist again. Again, the Qi, the energy, is rooted in the feet, directed by the waist, and manifested through the hands. So again, you're following this downward X pattern. You can do it with one hand or two hands. You want to keep the hands together so you're holding that ball, letting the body rotate and move. Again, then you come up and you harmonize. Now we do this from behind. Again, we can do this from a high stance like we did before. Again, here's the downward X. Here's the hand just coming up and down. Again, energy pendulum is a concept to where you're getting your body to rotate around the center. Once you get comfortable with those two patterns, then we're going to move the weight onto just the right foot. So we're going to turn our right foot out, we're going to bring our heels together and put our left foot forward. When we do this, the weight is completely on the back leg. Foot is turned out a little bit. We want the right leg to be full. What we mean by that is if you have a bucket of water that's full, it becomes very heavy. The left leg wants to be empty. I can move that leg. If you think about when you walk, we always fill one leg, empty the other leg. The leg that's empty we can move. We then fill that, empty the other leg. If you watch people who are very heavy, they have a hard time emptying any leg and maintaining their balance to where they can actually move fluidly from position to position. Now with the right foot back and the left leg forward, we want our shoulder, our hip, and our heel all lined up. So if you took a staff or any kind of a stick and went all the way through, you'd want a straight line there. Again, so the hips are pushed back. We rotate around that right hip. Now when you do this, you might feel this in your knee more. If you need to turn your right foot out a little bit as you rotate to your right and turn it in a little bit, let your heel move back and forth, you can do that. Again, you can also let the body come up and sink. One of the things I had a number of teachers that used to say that you want to feel like you're drilling for Qi, so you're really pushing that leg down. As you do that, it's going to get heavier and heavier. Once that gets really heavy, then bring your left heel back. And again, you might do 3 reps to 9 reps. Fill it up, put your right leg forward, and then do the energy pendulum with your left side back and your right foot forward. Again, you can do it with the figure 8. When you're doing this, you want to again make sure you're not dipping your shoulders. You're not doing this at all. But again, it's all in the waist. Again, the waist comes, or the body comes up and sinks. Also, again, you can do it with the pendulum effect of the ball. You can also let the hands, again, relax and soften. You can see how my hands come up. I hold the ball, and watch how the wrist very gently comes down with the movement. So again, you want to play with the energy. If you have questions, of course, you can email me those. Come up and harmonize. So it's important to realize while you're practicing these sets, again, you can ask questions. The more questions you ask in terms of structure, in terms of goals of movements, in terms of breath. The more you understand the movement, the better you can direct it. Because again, one of the goals of Tai Chi is to get the mind and the body to work together as a unit instead of working separately, going in different directions. Now, the 5 centering set, again, if we review those very quickly, we had energy circles, energy arms, energy shuttle, gather and disperse, energy pendulum. Again, the goal of those 5 movements was to work on getting the legs stronger and more rooted. And as we move around from position to position, we're moving around a center point that stays even though we may be moving from position to position. So again, it's like the concept of a tree. It is rooted in the ground, but it's a moving tree. So when we move from here to here, it is still solid and centered. So that's, again, the image or visualization you want to have as you practice this 5 centering Qi Gung set.